If you're struggling with back pain lately, not to worry. You can do this simple exercises just for 10 minutes to make you feel better. Let's get started. We'll start by lowering ourselves gently on our backs. Just one thing at a time, very slow, very gentle movements today. We'll start by raising the right leg up, and we'll be doing sort of a hip twist. So we're gonna bring the hip a little towards us and then straighten it. Okay, just like this movement. Try not to move it because of your knee or because of your ankle. No, all of the action is happening in your hip. Do it very slowly and very controlled. That's how you know that it's working, because our lower back, of course, is all connected to our hips, including, especially if you're sitting too much. Definitely need to improve our hip mobility as the priority. All right, now we're gonna bring the right leg on our left knee and just thread our hands through. If that stretch feels a little bit too intense for you, you can grab your arms under your thigh here for less intense, and you can just pulse it a little bit towards you, or find the stretch that's comfortable and just stay there for a few breaths. Perfect. All right, let's release here. Just gonna very gently, I like to grab my leg before fully releasing it and just bring it down. Gonna bring our feet just about mat width, just a little bit wider than our hips, and just bring the knees closer to you. I'm gonna put our hands in a T shape, or you can actually have them underneath your head, whichever is comfortable. I'm gonna do quick kind of a wiper motion with our knees, lowering them to the left and then to the right. Perfect. Again, hands can be either in a T shape or behind you. Awesome. All right, let's move on to the next side. Same thing. We're gonna be doing left leg now. So again, same thing. Raise your left leg up. You can adjust your foot, by the way, to be back onto hip width. And bring and rotate your hip towards you and then out. Okay? In and out. You don't need to go too low, but as long as you feel sort of movement. Also, if you feel not very comfortable in your lower back, what I suggest is actually bring a soft blanket or a pillow right underneath your lower back just to alleviate that pain. And of course, you can adjust your range of motion as well. And again, make sure all of that moves as one unit. All the action is happening in your hips. All right. Now let's bring our left leg on top of our right knee, nice and gentle, and then thread through. Again, if that's a bit too uncomfortable, you can grab by the bottom of your thigh here. You can pulse or stay in one spot here. Some people like to rock side to side as well. That's also one of the options for you. Again, see what feels best for you today. One more breath. Now let's go back onto our knees placed and then have our legs a little bit wider. We're gonna place now our right leg on top of our left knee, just like we did before, but this time we're gonna do a very gentle spinal twist. So we're gonna be twisting to the right, again with our ankle on top of our left knee. And then you can actually even look the opposite direction. You can have your arms in a T shape, or again, you can have them under your head, whichever again works for you. But this is a very nice stretch, gentle spinal rotation. And it's okay if your left hip actually comes off the ground. That's what we want, of course, if it's not too far away, but make sure to still lower that left hip as far as you can. I'll do the same thing on the other side. So let's bring knees back in, gently switch. Again, left arm on your right, left ankle on your right knee. And we're just gonna twist to the left this time. Okay, I'm just gonna put something like this. And I do suggest, yes, definitely look in the opposite direction just to make sure you follow along with your twist, because actually where you look, this is where your neck follows. And neck is directly connected to the spine. And all of it is connected, of course, and has a lot to do with alleviating the back pain. And just gonna try to bring your right hip down as far as you can. Okay, nice and relaxed. One more breath. Perfect. All right, let's release. Gently bring your knees up. And now we're gonna have our feet at about hip width distance. So you can even check if you can touch your heels and just go like a few steps forward. All right, we're gonna do very, very slow motion here. I'm gonna bring our hips side to side, sort of wiggle them, but very, very gently. Make sure to have your floor as a reference, as a feedback. So you want to make sure that your rib cage and your hip, that distance, is becoming less when you move it to one side and then the other side. You can actually even place your thumb and index finger. Thumb will go on your rib, on your lower rib, approximately. Don't have to be super precise. And then the index finger will go on your hip. And you should feel that distance decreasing. Do the same thing on the other side whenever you move your hips. It's a very slow, almost unnoticeable motion from the audience perspective, but there's probably no audience, so it's just you. You have to feel it. That's the main thing. Feel it for yourself, okay? Right. Very, very gentle. This motion I do suggest doing on the hard floor or somewhere where it's as most flat as it can be, just because you can feel that motion a little better. Once you get better with that, then you can move on to the softer surface. Perfect. All right, now we're gonna do a half happy baby pose. You're gonna bring your right leg out and bring it over. You don't have to touch the knee and on your floor, because if you do feel that your left hip is not touching the ground, that's not really what we want. So again, you can either grab onto your foot, or if it's a bit too intense, you can just grab it a little lower on your shin, whatever you feel the stretch. Very, very good. We will do one side at a time, because sometimes doing two legs at the same time is a bit too intense. So let's just very gently, you can even rock side to side, but just make sure your hip stays, both of your hips in fact, stay as close as they can to the ground. All right? Perfect. Now let's switch. Do the same thing, but with your left leg. Raise it up. It is totally okay if one side feels a little bit more flexible than the other. You should just follow along with yourself. You should just follow along with how you feel. Okay? And then we'll just do that here. Very, very gentle rocks. Awesome. Again, I don't want your knee to touch the floor, right? I want it to have it nice and even, just as long as both hips are out, and it's totally okay to feel the stretch in your inner thigh as well. Perfect. All right. And our last exercise here, you can move your tummy. You can kind of control it with your abs a little bit, in and out. All right. You're just kind of trying to rotate inside your hips. So similar that we did side to side, but this one is sort of up and down motion. Again, it's a very, very tiny motion, and you are using a little bit of your abs and hips and trying to almost like a massage your lower back just with that motion, of course, using the floor. Okay, very, very gentle, and that should feel really good. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple more of those. Okay, perfect. Awesome. And just like that, we are done. I hope your lower back feels better, you feel better, and I will see you in the next video.